Hey guys, how's everything going? This is Jason. In this video, let's talk about how React handles empty values. I think we all know that now undefined and the false, these values are rendering nothing in React, right? They're just pretty simply ignored. But actually, I didn't know that truth is also one of them. So my bad. I have never read the doc carefully, but it doesn't matter because I don't know that. Since I'm not using that very often, so it doesn't matter. In this video, let's figure out how it does it internally. Because are some primitive values, they're not be treated as components. So in the fiber tree, in the React elements, the so-called virtual DOM, they all only exists in the values, right? So they either be the child of some component or the child of an array, the array element. But either way, this should be some child of some component. I think in React they only handles like especially for text node or something. They will be treated as the text content, but for the others, for div like this, it will be handled as children. So, as I've already been a bit familiar with the React source code, so I instantly go to reconcile children to take a look at how it reconcile this stuff. If you are not familiar with that, I suggest you read my past posts or my videos. And yeah, I won't spend much time explaining that. So reconcile children, as the name says, is just reconcile the children, and in it there are two functions. Usually, it's for most of the cases in React. One mount is for the first render, and the other one is update, which is reconcile child fibers here. But internally, they all do the same because they do the same because you can see that reconcile child fibers is the same. Got child reconciler with a different flag passed in. The flag actually, if we open the source code, you can see that the child reconciler actually, the flag means should track side effect or not. Yeah, it's just for deletion. This is reasonable because for the first render, there's no previous version of fibers, right? The fiber tree will always be newly created. There's nothing to compare. There's nothing to delete. So we could think of this like internal optimization. From child reconciler, we can see that side effects means deletion. Yep. And then reconciler consists a few closure functions above the flag. This is a flag controlling a bunch of functions, just like configuration. And then the true reconcile child fibers is what we want to take a look at. So yeah, and reconcile child fibers, this is parent, yeah. Meaning, okay, I think this, yeah, notice that the reconcile child fibers is mainly about the child. It's not about the fiber itself. The reconciler for each child fiber, they will be done differently, like reconcile single element stuff, reconcile child fiber stuff. So these function mainly is to reconcile the structure of the parent-children relation. You can think that say we have a bunch of children here in the previous version, and then we have some new children in the new version. This reconcile is just to clear things up, like make the structure right, like the right length stuff. And then for each child, maybe it was updated or it's newly created, but that will be done differently. So yeah, remember this is for the structure. Okay, so the first argument is the return fiber. Obviously, this is parent. Current first child is the first child. Yeah, obviously. New child. Yeah, this is the new version. Length. We will cover it later. I haven't figured it out yet. Okay, first one, new child if it's an object and it's not now. Then we check the child type. If it's element, obviously we reconcile a single element. It's portal, reconcile a single portal. Lazy, reconcile child favors lazy. Have we covered lazy stuff? Maybe I don't actually remember. Let's open my blog. Lazy. Huh. There isn't. I think I should cover it someday. Anyway, this is already if this element we've already covered. But if the new child is an array, yep. So it's not single. If a new child is an array, then it should be reconciled differently about the array structure, which is why we are calling reconcile children array here. Yeah, we will cover it later. And then if it is a generator function, I actually don't know what it is. I have never touched it before, but it's basically the same as array, I think, because array is an iterable. So it says get an iterator function, reconcile. I'll dig into details about when this is useful, but I think we could treat these two the same. So yeah, and then this is for new child is valid state. If it's an object, that means we can reconcile, right? And then here's a case about if the new child is string. Yeah, for a string we handle it differently. It's about text node. You can see just a text node, and it will be the string will be a child will be treated as text content. Yeah, and then for the other cases are all treated as empty. So you can see that actually not only these four are treated as empty values, all the other stuff, including what symbol, right? We have primitives like symbol and big int. They're all treated as empty values. So this is the tricky part. These are not actually, these values are not specifically treated as empty, but they're kind of like left out because they are meaningless. Yeah. So we can see from the code that it's just simply ignored, left out. Okay, here's a summarization about this function. There's 4 steps: handle single element, yeah, then handle array or iterators, and then handle non-empty and strings and numbers, and then the rest are treated empty. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it's just simply ignored. So what about the case when it is an array? What's in this reconcile children array? We can take a look at the source code, and we will cover that in another post because there has some algorithm issue there. But generally, if we take a look at the code, there are 2 places where new fibers are created. One is called update slot. This means that we need to update the item at a specific index because it is an array, right? Yeah. This one is update from map. This is some fallback for the algorithm. We'll cover it in the next video. Yeah. So in reconcile children array, a new linked fiber list is constructed by looping through the array items. So if new fiber is null, it is simply ignored and not put on the fiber tree. Yep. And in the update slot, I think I have a typo here. I'll update it. Update from map. We find a similar pattern which empty values are simply ignored. If we take an update slot here, you can see, yeah, check if it is valuable string, meaningful string, and treat it as text node. If then we check if it is an object, and then the other one is null, and the update returns null. As we said, if it is null, it is just simply the fiber it should not be there. It just ignored. And if it is a previous version, no fiber there, it should be treated as deletion. Yeah, cool. So that's it. Actually, I didn't explain anything, right? I hope it helps because this is some internal implementations about the meaning about these empty values in React, and yeah, they are simply just ignored. But one thing about that is that, especially about this array, why I pointing it out is actually even though the value are treated as empty, but it has occupied at a position, right? A position in array, which is the index. So that actually affects the algorithm we'll cover next post. So it is treated as empty, but it takes up the space, takes up the index. Yeah, it's a bit hard to explain until the next video. Stay tuned. it's really interesting to see how actually it is ignored. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.